everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me today. I am going to be finishing my quest to install the spoon rigid collars on my GR Corolla behind me. So last week I was able to get the front done, and this weekend I'm going to go ahead and work on the rear. Here's what we got right here. So we got 8 collars. There's 4 locations, and I was able to find the torque specs for those 4. So I've got the car up. Let me get positioned and start showing you what we're doing and then what I have to remove to get to them. On the rear, there are 2 locations for these. One is right here. So one rigid filter or collar will go here, and then another one will go up above it. And then the other one is right, let's see if I can show you, right there. That's the other one. So I need to, this is going to be 2 things I'm going to knock out. I found that there's a lot of stuff, and you can hear all that, you can even see the gravel and stuff that gets caught up in there. So I'm going to take the tray off of both sides and not only clean it out, empty it from all the debris that gets up in there, and then that'll give me access to that bolt right there. So, and I should be able to get to it from underneath once this tray is gone. So go ahead and get these trays off, and we'll be able to see what we're doing better. Look at all of those rocks. It's crazy what gets caught up in there. I can hear them jostling around. The front one, or the middle one, I guess, is not nearly as bad, although there are plenty in there. I think they get bounced. Anything that gets caught in this one ends up getting knocked back in this one just while you're accelerating and stuff. So crazy though. But you need to take this one off first, and it gives you access to this right here. It's hard to get to that as it's covered up, so, but easy to do. There's just clips and some 10mm bolts that go along that edge there near the outside edge of the car, and then that's it. So some clips. These guys right here just unscrew. They're plastic, but they just unscrew and they push back on. So, but I'm going to clean all those, get all the rocks out. And that didn't even include all the, I don't know if you can see it, but there's rocks all over the floor here. Now it's very easy to see that other bolt right there. Nice and easy to get to that one. And then there's the other one right there. So, not too bad. Okay, well, I'm going to take these off on this side, passenger side. We'll pop those off, and then I'll have access to both sides, and we'll clean those out. Here's the passenger side ones. Ton of rocks in there too. Even a leaf, look at that. And again, some rocks in here, not as many, but a little gathering spot up there. But we got those down. I'll get all the debris out, but now totally free and accessible. So there it is right there. So that's a 24mm, and then on this side, this one right here is a 22mm. So the nut's a 22, and the bolt head right there is a 24. So I got to break those loose so that the subframe can sag. I've got the car lifted just a little bit off the ground. I have not taken the tire off yet. 24. There it goes. Okay. There's that one loose. There we go. I can see it fall. So we'll just have to see if it's enough. Oh yeah, that's a decent amount. I do not believe that, I did not see on these collars any of them that you split in half to get around. So this bolt should be easy enough to get all the way out. I guess I'm kind of curious about this one back here though, since it's a nut. I don't know, maybe I just didn't notice it. Once I take the collars out, I'll see it better. Loosen this one back here. Guess I need to take a really close look here at my collars and determine which one goes where. So looking at these, 6 of them are like this. And 2 of them are like this with just a little tiny lip on it. But these, you can see the score mark. See that? So these are meant to be split in half and put up at the top. And I would imagine that that is for that top right there, because that's a nut. This bolt can slide all the way out and you can put the whole collar on it. So that seems to make sense to me. So I'm gonna take the bolt out first. So this is how this one's going to sit. So this lower rigid collar will be right below the bolt, and then this one will be up top next to the chassis. So there you can see the hole really well, and that's where the collar, the rigid collar, slips into the cone base side of it, and then above that is kind of the same thing. It's hard for you to see it, but it looks pretty much the same above it. So I'm trying to get the camera to focus. But there it is right there. So here's where the collars go. The upper one goes there, and the lower one goes right there. So that bolt's going to slip right through there, and the collars will be on both sides of that to align the subframe, which is this piece right here, to the body, the chassis there. So I'll get it put in and we'll show you what it looks like afterward. So there you can see the collar sitting in there. I just have it sitting in, I haven't greased it yet. So it will sit just like that side down. And then on the bottom, it'll sit the opposite way. It'll sit with this up. On the top, it's down. So they're both going to sandwich into that subframe piece right there. So get it greased up and we'll get it set in there. So there, the collar is inserted. It's all greased up, the copper grease they give you, and sitting in its place, which is really nice, makes it nice and easy. And then here's the lower one on the bolt. Got a little grease in the threads there. Try to get the rest of that out. So now I can go ahead and thread it in. Okay, moving on to the rear one. So I've taken the nut off, as you can see. So this is sagged all the way down right here. Not a problem now. We'll split the collar for this right here and grease it up and place those two pieces in. The small little lip that is on there will go down, I do believe. And then we'll go ahead and do the nut here with the same kind that we had before, and the nut will, or the collar here, will go up like that, and it will slip into that bigger hole and center itself on that, therefore lining everything up beautifully. So now I got to take one of these, and once again you can see the score marks on there. So you bend it and it snaps in half, and that way you can get it around that bolt, because we're not going to take the whole stud out. Here's the collar after I snapped it in half. So once it goes back in, this little tab right here will hold it right where it's supposed to be, so it'll have the same exact effect and it'll sit just like that. Pretty ingenious. So moved over to the driver's side, popped off the wheel real quick. So let's go ahead and tackle this. Do the 22 rear one first. Get that back together. So let me go ahead and split the top one, take that nut off, and we'll get those on real quick. You know, once you do one side, it's much easier. In fact, once I did the front, then I kind of realized how these things work. And then I'll come over and we'll tackle that one right there. Okay. Actually, some water trapped up in there. Interesting. So now this is completely ready. So I can see where the collar will slip up around there and take up that space. But the first one I got to do is the top one, and I have to break it in half. You can tell this grease is good stuff though. It's thick. It will stay on there. And it's nice because the parts, when you put them in place, they stay there. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that on these split ones, the little tiny lip that's on there, and it is tiny, gets down in there. Now I can tell it is, because I kind of spun it on there. So do the same thing to this other half, and then get them lined up. Okay. Now this can be a little tricky, because you can see like right here, they want to overlap. So you want to get them to where they're each taking up only half. There we go. That one laid right down into it. So this is good to go. And I can see how it spins. When I shifted it there, it started to turn. So I'm good there. So now I need to grab the lower collar. Okay, so there we go. You can see how that just kind of slips up in there. It's not all the way up, as it will get compressed and spreads and then fills that space perfectly. I had to go to, couldn't find it online. I had to go to the dealer to find out the torque specs. I found the torque specs on the front ones, but I couldn't find them on these rear ones anywhere. So I will list those when I do this video. So that is all set, except for tightening it, but it's finger tight. So let's go ahead and move over, and we'll get this last one done. Ready to put in the final two collars now on the bolt here. So you can see the space right there, all set for it. Right here, right there's that space. If I can get it focused, there we go. So let me grease up the first one. And if you remember from the other side, this one sits down into the top of it there. So it's real easy for it just to stay where it is. Got it all lubed up. Let's see if I can get it up in there. Get it up in there. There we go. And drop down in. This grease, there we go. This grease gets anywhere you touch. Grease up this last one. So this one you want to slide down on the bolt inverted so that like this, so that collar slides up and in to the part, and there you can see the bottom of it right there. Don't really have a good way to hold that higher. So you will see the bolt come through. So I'm going to slip this up through. Now what I'm trying to do here is just get that started. There we go. Once I get it started, I can come back here and try to make sure it's in the kind of in the hole there, at least semi-centered, so that it lays down into that hole, which is what you want. There is that one all bolted up. It's not torqued all the way yet, so it still has some compression to make. And then same thing with this one. You can see the tie strap there. Actually, I take that off. Once you loosen the whole subframe, if it needs to be shifted, I used a tie strap, ratchet strap, just to give a little tug in the direction I wanted it, just to get it lined up so that this black tube right here would line up with the collar. You don't want to pinch that. You want it to just fall into it. So, which I was able to do. I just needed to shift it a little tiny bit, and the ratchet strap worked beautifully, just like it did on the front subframe. So everything is put back together. I just have to torque them, but I'm throwing on the wheels and tires first. I want it to be on all four when I'm torquing those bolts, so I don't want it to be lifted. On the tires, it'll be a lot more secure. So I'll go ahead and put this other tire down, torque those, and drop this down, and then I'll torque all four of those, and then I just have to put the shields back on, the undercover shields, and this job will be done. I am all done. I got the panels back on. Everything is torqued. So there is that one, and then where is it? Hiding, there it is. You can just barely see it. So now with the covers back on, it's hard to get a view of it, but it is right through there. But they are torqued down, everything's centered, covers back on and empty of all the rocks. So they're good to go. So any questions, guys, please holler. This is the first time I've ever done these, doing the fronts last week and the rears this week. So very cool concept, and I can see how it's going to help. But if you got any questions or you're interested in doing it or anything, please holler. If you're in the area around me and you'd like to do it, I have no problem helping you do it. And until next time, we'll see you down the road.